Welcome to our 9th episode of the DMV Autocross Podcast. I'm Danny Kao.
And I'm Atta Tabesh. Thank you for joining us on episode number 8. Danny says 8 is enough, and I don't understand his 70s cheesy jokes. So we're just going to move right into today's podcast. I think we have a lot to talk about today.
You never seen the show 8 is enough?
No, I've never even heard of it.
Oh,
Danny.
My God. Why me?
I've never even, I don't understand. Like, I get that it's probably hilarious, but I'm only in my 40s.
Right.
So
Happy Days.
Way too young.
Happy Days, Three's Company. No,
I've heard of
nothing?
those, but not 8 is enough. I've never even heard of 8 is enough.
Vegas. No. All right. Okay. Whatever. This was the first 2 weekends of busy spring autocross, and we have lots of event results to report. So let's get right into it with what's coming up the next 2 weeks for DMV autocrossing.
This Saturday is the first Washington, D.C. region SCCA autocross event at Waldorf, Maryland. Registration ends Friday at 5 p.m. and spots are still available as of recording. Many SCCA regulars will be in attendance, and my money will be on the fastest guy of the event. Me, this guy. Literally all my money will be on me. I'll have no money left. Someone's going to have to pay for the chicken afterwards. Look for the first loser battle between Marcus Pine, Greg Pollock, and Patrick Gaffney. But we all know Mark's going to be there. He will be faster.
So Mark Kanakarane is going to be the fastest because Mrs. Kanakarane basically corrected the pronunciation of their names, which I completely butchered at Dixie one year. Oh, well. Saturday is also the first PCA autocross school. The event is typically full and registration is closed. If you are willing to travel out of the DMV area, Philly, Harrisburg, Southern New Jersey, and Central Virginia autocross clubs all have events. Find them on motorsportsreg.com for more details. On Sunday, PCA Potomac is hosting their race number 1 at Summit Point. Look for a bunch of Geritol-sponsored drivers like Patrick Gaffney, David Critcher, Howard Lankin, and John Venkerich battling young kids like Lenny Wilcock and Kevin Kitty. But Jeff Braun will probably win because he operates timing.
Only autocross. This is Lenny Young.
That's universe. Right. Lenny's a kid.
The following week, surprisingly, very few local autocrosses will be available. Most local SCCA autocrossers will be attending the New Jersey Pro Solo, which is the closest SCCA national race to the DMV this year. Who's who of SCCA autocrossers will be there. If you don't know who they are, this will be a good weekend to relax with family, or you could do what our podcast team is doing, and that's a southern track vacation to Road Atlanta, Atlanta Motorsports Park, and Barber. We will try to do a segment from there, or maybe an entire episode if we're up for it, so please stay tuned for that.
Yeah, this will be a fun weekend coming for us. Us three, really. Me, you, and Alan. Yeah. Okay, so after consecutive weeks of accurate weather forecasts, our local physiologist missed his personal forecast at Charlotte Tour and got soaked on. Here he is drying out from the weekend and give you our next weather forecasts. Our own physiologist, Alan Claffey.
He's a meteorologist, Danny. It's very, very simple.
He's soaked.
Hey guys, it's your friendly weatherman again here in the lovely town of Waldorf, Maryland. We just got back from Charlotte National Tour, and speaking of weather, could you possibly plan for a weekend where one day it's 80 and sunny and the next day it's 50 and raining? It's not fun. So, what are we doing today? Well, let's see. We've got helmets getting dried out. We have tire blankets getting dried out. Tools getting dried out. Over here, we have all the shoes from the weekend getting dried out. Over there, the truck's getting dried out. We got clothes getting dried out. It sucked. We were pretty good there, but it was no fun actually doing it. I've already started a second load of laundry. It's going to be a long time before we're actually back in one piece. So we're going to head on back here to the Weather Terrace in beautiful Parsimonious Racing HQ, where, oh my God, I got to cut this grass. Okay, on that happy note, let's think about weather for the future rather than dwelling in the past. We have here the cheat sheet. We're going to look at Saturday. SCCA is running at Waldorf. That's 10 minutes from home. I love this. And it's going to be 65. And as of right now, it says there's going to be some drizzle in the morning. Well, that's fun for us setting up the event. It might be okay by the time we actually get running. We'll find out. Sunday, looks like something's happening at Summit Point. So we're going to say 79 and cloudy. 79 is not bad at all. You should take advantage of that. How about the next weekend? I don't have anything on my calendar that's locally happening, so we're going to look forward to the New Jersey Pro Solo. And right now, Saturday doesn't look bad. This is 71 with a shower in the morning. Of course, we're looking at this darn near 2 weeks out. Is it going to be anywhere close to what actually happens? Who knows? But we're going to try anyway. Sunday, 72 with a 75% chance of rain. Well, for you guys going to New Jersey, have fun with that. I've got plenty of memories from rain from yesterday. I don't need to live that again. So either way, you are now forewarned, forearmed. You can now prepare accordingly. Go and have a good time. Even if it's raining, you just got to spend a little extra time cleaning up. So that's enough from me at the Weather Terrace at Parsimonious Racing HQ. I'm going to send it back to you guys in the studio. Have a great day.
Thank you, Alan. 2 Saturdays ago was the first BMW points event at Summit Point. Here has been some confusion on who finished first between Marcus Pine and Patrick Gaffney. Depending on who you talk to, both claim to be the winner. So we went to our trusted friend, John Vankovich, for his non-biased results, and he told me he won.
Yep.
So anyway, after multiple verifications, we're happy to report that Marcus Pine was the fastest driver for the competition part of the event, followed by Pat Gaffney, John Vankovich, and Rafael Garces finished fourth. Ada?
I participated on the PCA Chesapeake Autocross School also 2 Saturdays ago. The school offered 3 different exercises and a mock race at the end, plus lunch from Potbellies.
Yeah.
The fastest student was Dan Laurent with a fast 44.5 second time, followed by Mike Ventura and Joel Vengren. Hope all students had a great time. I know I did. It was a blast.
Yeah, that was fantastic. Those Potbelly sandwiches are good.
Everything. The students were great. It was just a perfect day.
That's right. That's right. I really enjoyed it as well. All of us at the Saturday's Mercedes event too were treated with fast and fun course. The event ends at 3:30 p.m. and we got 9 exciting runs each. Wow. Mercedes Club does not publish their results with the driver's full name. So essentially, everyone became Asian with the Asian last name. The winner is Brian Ka, followed by Danny Ka. There's no relations. Third went to Greg Poe. And rest of the top 10s are, 4th place went to Dean Mo. 5th went to Matt Hu. Oh my God.
Thank you for not making me do this segment, Danny. Like, this is so...
I'm going to be in so much trouble. Oh my God. All right. Maybe I should just cut it. Yeah, but I have to say.
I mean, I'm just saying, it's a... I'm just glad the Asian guy has to say the Asian last names.
Oh my God. Oh, I think I'm going to cry on camera. Okay, so Jen Fo is 6. Oh my God. Okay, with Howard Lee 7th, Austin Ha was 8th.
They're getting worse. They're getting more and more Asian.
That's it. I'm done.
Just cut it off.
Oh so obviously we had to cut that segment or cut the Mercedes report because we can stop laughing. I lost it for the last 15 minutes, but now we're back. So sorry, the 8th and 9th and 10th.
You can't say it.
Your Asian name's not going to be announced because I just can't do it. It's way too funny.
But you did a great job.
All right,
we're proud of you.
I tried.
Top 10.
Right. Okay, so stay tuned for. Now I'm looking forward to every Mercedes event reporting. It's awesome. Us Asian represent. All right, Ada.
WDCR Test and Tune was held on the Potomac pad at Summit Point on Saturday. The turnout was light, so the lucky participants got a million run each. I heard the mid 34 seconds was close to the fastest time of the day. So if you were there, that was the benchmark. And I hope you have some tires left.
Oh, yeah. There was a lot of runs. I think everybody was dead by 3:30.
That's the best, though. That's the best.
Yeah.
You get like unlimited runs. Yep.
You know, I went back and visited them around like 10:45 and everybody was already tired. There's nobody running anymore.
Amazing.
It was pretty interesting. So, well, anyway, so Sunday's BMC #1 race at Ripken had a great national style course built by Ken Roller and Alex Maramo. The two humongous sweeper, which covers both directions, It is something that we rarely see in the DMV area after we lost FedEx Field. The surface temp, however, was tricky the entire first heat and part of the second heat. Our FTD winner, with no surprise, went to Aaron Shu. Our buddy Creepy Mike finished second in his exo set, and John Wellerman escaped from all his kids Sunday and finished third. Here are the results of the top 10 and the PAX results, which I'll read over very quick. This is not the Mercedes event, so
full names, please.
So this is they're like regular American names now. All right. So Greg Pollock finished fourth. Dean Mohi in his Cayman finished fifth. Greg Jenkins in the Exoset sixth. Jen Fox seventh in her ND. I finished eighth in my ND. Craig Mahevka in a 911 finished ninth, and Mr. Rick Newman finished 10th. And very quickly, top 5 PAX results. Went to number 1, Aaron Shu, John Williman second, Ken Roller third, Brian Carwin fourth, and Dean Mohi finished fifth. And that's it.
WDCR sent a huge contingent to Charlotte, North Carolina for the Charlotte National Tour at ZMAX. 25 WDCR members attended, and many came back with trophies. And here they are. David Rusk, second in AS. Kevin Henry, second in FS. Clyde Kaplan, third in FS. Dustin Grubbs, second in GS. Daniel McFarland, second in HS in his national debut. Tim Aro won STR with Marcus Pine in fourth. Jeremy Hebel beat a ton of all-wheel drive cars to win second in the rain in his S2000. And Mark Gang brought home a trophy for his efforts in STH. Congrats, everyone. The next national event is going to be the New Jersey Pro Solo on May 3rd through the 5th. Good luck in advance to all who are attending, and I can vouch for that event. It's one of the best.
That's right. Yeah. I mean, I wonder who won the whole Super Challenge before from DC.
That's a good question.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure he has a 3-letter last name that was abbreviated to a 2-letter last name a few minutes ago at the end of the Mercedes results. And he's also on this podcast, and it's not me.
Yeah. And he's a real Asian.
He's a full-blooded.
That's right. Well, I want to add one more thing, though. I want to especially thank Ryan St. Louis.
Yes.
And also Greg Pollock and John Brankovich. They're the ones that gave us the actual summary of the event results. So if you have any event summary results, and then please post them on DMV Autocross podcast group, and it will certainly take advantage of it. That really saves us a lot of time. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. All right.
For our Feature of the Week segment, we like to cover an interesting, informative, or fun topic which could benefit all autocrossers. We are honored to be joined by Mr. Greg Hartke, the leader of the PCA Chesapeake Autocross region, to tell us more about the autocross program. Welcome, Greg.
Thank you, Ada. Thanks for having me. I'm really kind of shocked and surprised that we'd even be that our program, the PCA Autocross program, would even be noticed by you guys. So I'm happy to be here.
Wait a minute. You're like the Lord.
Whoa. Time out. That was the second organization I ever autocrossed with.
See, I haven't been autocrossing forever. I only started autocrossing in 2014. And so I guess I didn't run across you, or maybe you were at the events and I just didn't run into you.
I was pretty slow, so I was kind of quiet and in the corner. But that's where I met Slava and Mei Ling.
And Slava and Mei Ling are the ones who, I know your name from working with Slava and Mei Ling, because Mei Ling, of course, was heavily involved in the autocross program, and Slava, great instructor. He and I were arch competitors in class for quite a while. You know how good Slava is. He's a really good driver. And we were in the same class, and most of the time he would beat me in class, and he'd be 1, I'd be 2, and about once, maybe twice a year, I'd nip him. And then if it was in the rain, if it rained, then Mei Ling would beat us both.
Mei Ling's actually faster than Slava. But what I was gonna add was Ada is nothing but quiet. So that's
I see. So he's the antithesis of Danny.
I'm not sure if that's good or bad. But
well, Adam, you have to understand that when Danny comes to our events, I always tab him as an announcer because he's glib and he knows all the people and he can actually make good comments and keep us entertained in the trailer too. I'd like to when he does his work.
He's also a little too slow to get cones, so that makes sense.
This is true.
For me, it's like you have to give everybody a rerun. That's right.
He's just standing out there.
but Greg, thank you again, Greg. It's an honor to have you on the podcast. Could you introduce yourself as well as introducing the team members of the PCA Chesapeake program?
Yes, I'm a retired physicist. I only retired like 18 months ago. I spent half my career doing theoretical physics, working for NASA and Columbia University. Then I changed tracks and went into aerospace, working in the defense industry, working for Northrop Grumman, where I became an expert in synthetic aperture radar, which is an air-to-ground imaging radar mode that's used to actually use a radar to create images of the ground, because you can do that night, day, through clouds, through rain, that sort of thing. And some of the systems that I developed are on aircraft that you would know about, although I can't really talk about them. And the good thing is, and one of the really highlights of my working career there is that the work that I did saved a lot of lives.
That's awesome. No, that's great.
So that was, I had a lot of fun doing that work. It was great. And of course, now retired, I have more time to do things. I have other hobbies besides autocross. So in fact, on weekends, if I'm not racing, I'm playing golf. So the whole year I'm playing golf, even during the winter. And when the racing season's on, if I'm not racing, I'm playing golf. And that keeps me extremely busy, as you can well imagine. And so those, I also do astrophotography. I've been an amateur astronomer since I was knee-high to a cricket, and got my first telescope when I was like 12 years old. I've had telescopes ever since. Every now and then people say, well, how many telescopes do you have? And I have to sit there and think about it and count them up in my head. I have a few, because you need different size telescopes to image different scale objects in the sky. And yes, I am traveling actually I'm leaving Friday to go see the eclipse on Monday, the total eclipse. My life list, if you will, for things I've seen in the astronomy world is very extensive, but the one thing I had never seen is a total eclipse of the sun. And so I'm heading out to Ohio to visit some family out there, and hopefully the sky will be clear and we'll be able to see the total eclipse. So that's totally cool. I'm taking a couple of telescopes with me, of course. You can't just take one. I mean, as far as the autocross team goes, it's not a big team. My co-chair is Mark Hubley. Mark just came on last year as the autocross co-chair, and he's been doing a fantastic job. He's also the course designer for this. I do everything pre-event, after event, all that stuff. I take care of all the other stuff. Mark does the course design, and one of my other team members, Fong Nguyen, also helps with some of the technical matters. For example, he compiles the results after the race. So there's Mark, Fong, Pinto Soin, John Cho, and Doug Slocum comprise the autocross team. These are the guys that get there in the wee small hours of the morning to work to set up the course and have the magic happen. And couldn't do it without them, because they are a fantastic bunch. Can't tell you how good they are. If event days, I need somebody to do something, I just say, Pinto, go do this. And he scurries off and does it. That's the way the whole team is. Really, really first rate. The guys I work with are just fabulous. Can't thank them enough.
Oh yeah, man. I'll tell you, every time we go, your team's lean and mean. That's 100% true. And then they're super efficient. Like this weekend's tech.
There are advantages to having small numbers on the team. And, because you can, everybody knows what they're doing, and there's no excess. You don't have anybody butting heads or, trying to have two people trying to do something at the same time, that sort of stuff. A smaller team, I think, is actually good. This is all the team that we need to make the magic happen. It works great.
Yeah. No, it's wonderful, because Pinto came over and then basically went to Vu and say, hey, we need to start tech. And then Vu grabbed me, and then, 3 or 4 of us just immediately jump in and then finish all the tech. So yeah, I mean, it's awesome. It really is.
There's a lot of cooperation among the regulars, let's put it that way. And that goes also with the teardown. We get everything from the time the event ends, from the time the last car, time when the course goes cold at the end of the run, end of the race, to the time when we have the trailer all packed up and ready to go, half an hour.
Yeah.
And that includes packing away all the cones. We can really get it done quickly because everybody pitches in to get all the stuff in there. I never even have to leave the trailer. I'm just there putting stuff away in the trailer while they're throwing it at me. It's great.
Right. That's wonderful.
Wow.
Great team.
That is awesome. So, Greg, for the people who are unfamiliar with the Chesapeake Region PCA program, can you tell us a little bit about what an autocross day is like? How many run groups? How many runs people can get or they can expect possibly?
So the team gets to the site, or at least I get there at about 4:40, and the team gets there shortly thereafter, and we immediately begin equipment setup. We drop the cones, begin the equipment setup. Once the cones are dropped, we have this dance. Now, anybody who runs autocross knows what dance it is to get everything set up. And the hard part is always getting the trailer to the site. And we keep the trailer at Mark Hubley's farm, which is like 20 or 25 minutes away. So Mark drives the trailer behind his pickup truck to the site, drops the cones, takes his truck back home, drops that off, picks up his car, drives back to the site. In the interim, I'm along with Pinto, we're setting up everything with the trailer, all the equipment at the trailer, while the other guys, John and Doug and Fong, are out setting up the course according to the maps that we brought. Now, they, of course, are not the course designers, but they're putting it out there, and that's a sort of a first approximation, if you will. As soon as Mark gets there, he then he walks through the course that they've set up and finalizes, and maybe winds up helping them finish building the course. And then he finalizes the design, goes through it, tweaks everything to put it in position. About the time he gets done that, I'm done getting all the equipment set up at the trailer, and then I do the safety runs on the course with Mark in the car, and we'll tweak the course, move some cones, improve the sight lines, put in some pointers, do the stuff that you always have to do to get the course ready for participants. As soon as that's done, we have to get all that stuff done because registration opens at 7:30. Participants are welcome to come on site at 7 a.m. Some people a little early. It doesn't really matter if they want to come and hang out. And people will offer to help, but frankly, I don't usually use them to help because the team has everything well in hand. So 7:30 is when registration opens, and from there, after we do the safety runs, then we'll open the course to walking. All the people can go out to walk, and after that, they get 2-3 walks of the course. Then we'll have the drivers meeting, and immediately thereafter, we'll send the workers out on the course and have the cars grid up, and so we can get started. The first car is usually off right around 9:30. That is our target time, and we've been doing pretty darn good with that. Sometimes a little bit early, occasionally a little bit later. It's usually no more than 5 or 10 minutes later than that. We're really trying hard to get started as early as we possibly can, because one of our goals is for the participants to get a full day of racing and still get home at some decent time so that they still have some of the day left. So our typical finish time is actually between 2 and 3 o'clock. And in that time, our goal is to get 6 runs in. If we have a fast course with an early crossover, we can sometimes get 7 runs in. That's a happy occurrence. Occasionally, if it's a longer course, maybe a later crossover, it goes down to 5. But that's a little bit unusual. More typically, it's 6. We have been running 2 run groups. I capped the registration at 65. And there's a reason for that. We're contractually obligated, if there are more than 100 participants or 100 people for our event on site, then we have to hire police, believe it or not, for security for the event. And not really wanting to do that, we can't have too many people on site, so which means not too many racers on site at one time, because friends always come, friends, family, that sort of thing to watch. They bring chairs, They watch, they have a good time. So I got to make sure it stays below 100. Now, I don't count them all. I don't want to know, but I guarantee you that we're probably generally in the 90, a little in the low 90s. So I can't have too many more people, too many more racers in about 65. That's rather limiting in what I can do, and that's why I run only 2 heats. I'm thinking about going to 3 heats. I'm trying to work out how to do that with the number of people that we have. You have the skill positions you have to fill. That leaves a certain number of course workers, and you have to have enough out there at one time. And having like 60, and as you know, you cap it at 65. You don't always have 65. You have some no-shows. You have some late cancellations. And so that can cause difficulties if you don't have enough people to work the course. I'm thinking about the possibility of increasing the registration to 70, taking a chance on that, and trying to run 3 heats. Because, of course, nobody wants to stand down the course and shag cones forever. I prefer to keep them out there for only an hour and a half. That doesn't happen too often because, you just can't typically get in 6 runs in an hour and a half. More typically, it's 2 hours, maybe a little bit more. I don't want to squeak it too much more than 2 hours. And then we try to make as fast a changeover as we possibly can. We're generally done between 2 and 3, and people still have a reasonable amount of their day left over for their families.
Sure. Greg, thank you so much for sharing that. I had never thought about it from that perspective of, hey, there's a reason we're capping because of XYZ, the number of people that can even be there, and friends count, family counts. Like I never thought of it like that. And I really appreciate you kind of giving me and Danny a little bit of that insight as to, because you think as a regular guy that just shows up and runs, I don't necessarily think about things like that. And it's just nice to hear you from that other perspective.
The people that run these events all know that you have an amazing number of constraints on what you're doing at these events. And I doubt that other venues may not have that constraint, but Prince George's Stadium, where we're racing right now in Bowie, that's the way they require it anyway. Now, when we raced at Ripken, and this year we're not racing at Ripken for the simple reason that I couldn't get race dates at Ripken. As soon as the season ended, I started thinking about schedule, and as soon as the minor league baseball schedules came out, I started working on it. And so at first I contacted Prince George's Stadium because that's where we do the majority of our runs. But I do like to race at Ripken. And actually, we've been thinking about expanding and doing a couple of runs there because Ripken is such a great venue, needless to say. But by the time and this was around Thanksgiving or so that I contacted them about race dates. And they basically only had like a couple of Sundays available at that point. And I know it sounds funny, but I prefer to race on Saturdays if at all possible. That's actually a holdover from when I was still working. I hated racing on Sundays, and then you have to go to work the next day, and I'm dead from running the race. Doesn't make so much difference now that I'm retired. But when I was working, that was tough. So I'm now much more accepting of Sunday dates. We have one Sunday date this year, as a matter of fact. But I couldn't get Ripken dates when I wanted them, so we're doing all our racing at PGS this year.
I always thought that we're wrapping up early because we get a chance to go to Rips.
Well, that late lunch at Rips is certainly a lot of fun. I like to get the people together and socialize a little bit afterwards, kind of wind down. You know what I mean? And talk about how we messed up.
Well, that's my that's my favorite. That's my favorite time of the event.
It's a lot of fun, absolutely. That is a great enjoyment. I don't know if you go to events where you guys get to go out to.
We go to Long John Silver's.
Oh God,
Greg, I can tell you about Long John Silver's. Only when we do good, though. If you don't do good, you're not rewarded with LJS.
That's the way that works. I see. Well, we're a lot more broad-minded than that, Anna. Even people who are struggling a little bit are welcome to come out to lunch with us.
No, he always goes to Long John Silver. It doesn't matter what he finishes.
Fantastic. Yeah, I could hit 6 cones and not have a single clean run. Good job, you made it out. Let's go to Long John Silver's.
You're addicted to Long John Silver's?
Yeah, it's the best restaurant in the world.
God's little fishes. Where'd you find this guy, Dan?
I have no idea. I tried to take him across the street to that great Italian place near what do you call it, in Charlestown. He goes, no, we're going to Long John Silver's. You know that they have A&W there.
No, you're not allowed to order off that menu. You have to order off the Long John Silver's menu.
Apparently.
All right. So, Greg, what is a course typically like? Is there a philosophy or guidelines that the course typically follows?
I've been doing this is my 6th year running autocross for the PCA. And it's interesting how my views on things and my way of doing things have evolved over the time that I've been doing this. So the experience has changed and improved, I think, my ways of doing things. So originally, when I was doing this, I didn't. If the course designer came out with a course that was highly technical and rather complicated, okay, that's kind of fun, and we do that a few times. But as I have done this more and more, I have come to realize that the drivers prefer courses that are faster. So I like to combine fast elements with some technical elements and add them together with chicanes. So skid pads are fun. Figure eights are fun. We had a figure eight on the an instructor day and the testing tune this past Saturday, and that was a lot of fun. Skid pad sweepers, a fast slalom. I prefer the faster slaloms. They're a lot more entertaining to drive, and then we connect these with chicanes and come up with nice flowing courses that can be fairly fast. That's what people really like.
I would add that PGS did repave their surface a couple of years ago, and that made a world of difference.
I was after them for years to repave that surface, and they did it. This is our third season on the repaved surface, and on the the places that I race are Summit Point, the Cone Pad, the Washington Circuit, Ripken, and PGS, and I've been to FedEx too, as a matter of fact. And also, what's the one down? The furniture people, what I'm talking about.
Waldorf, yeah.
Regency, Waldorf.
That was really slippery. At least it was when I was there, even in the dry.
They do a lot of drifting. They do a lot of drifting events, so they take off a lot of surface, and then that surface becomes this slippery spot.
That's kind of amazing, Danny, because I would think that, thinking about how much it costs to resurface an area that big, my God, I wouldn't think that the people who run the establishment would be very happy with people tearing it up. In any case, the surface of PGS has great grip right now. Of all the places that I race, and including FedEx and Summit Point and Ripken, PGS has the best grip of any of them. It's the best surface of any of them. So it's really a fun place to race.
So Greg, I know you're an avid golfer and have been doing autocross for some time, right? So I know you mentioned a little bit earlier briefly, but can you share a little bit more about your car racing experience with us? And then what got you interested in owning a Porsche and then and become the autocross chair?
A what, Danny?
A Porsche.
There you go.
Sorry.
Oh, got him.
Adam, smack him upside the head when you see him next time.
I wish I could, but he's too tall. I can't reach him.
All right. I'd always been interested in sports cars. Always liked sports cars. Back in the old days, I was an avid reader of Road and Track, and I actually had a couple of MGBs in my old days. I had an MGB and an MGB GT, and those were fun cars. But you don't keep cars like that too long when you're starting your career and needing to work and all that sort of stuff. So that kind of stayed by the wayside. But there was a buddy at work, Scott Borden, and Scott knew that I was interested in sports cars, and he would talk about autocross, and I would ask him all kinds of questions and things. And at that time, I was driving a Mini Cooper S. And he was encouraging me to go out, and so I decided to go to the autocross school. It was a good way because I didn't want to just go to a race flat-footed and try it out. Now, mind you, I spent my whole life trying to drive the racing line, no matter what I was driving, ever since my young days. So it's not like I was completely unfamiliar. So I came into it with some working knowledge at some level of how to drive, how to do some performance driving. Although obviously nothing like what I learned. I came out to the autocross school, went to like 4 events that first year, and then the second year I put better tires on the car and had a lot more fun and did a lot more events. I was having a really good time. But of course, there I was racing with the PCA. And, and I was having fun with my Cooper. But, I mean, because I'd even beat some of the Porsches, for Pete's sakes. We all know how that works. Not every Porsche driver or any driver is really fast. If you look at Danny and his Mazda tearing everybody up with his
it's the answer.
Mazda, for Pete's sake. Yeah, Mazda's always the answer. I know, Danny. You still have your 911.
I do.
You? The GTS?
Yeah,
Oh, good.
I do.
In fact, I was surprised you didn't have it on Saturday. I was a little bit shocked to see the. But it was okay. It was okay. I didn't mind.
Take my push out.
Anyway, I talked to all these guys and decided I wanted something faster, so I bought a Porsche. And I like the Cayman. I always like the looks of the Cayman much better than 911, so I bought a Cayman. And being mid-engined, I thought that would be really cool for autocross, and it was. I bought a 2014 Cayman S, the Model 981, which I really like. I just wish it had the locking differential. Mine does not have.
They're open.
Mine does not have PTV.
Wow.
Everybody else in my class says that.
Yeah.
Except me.
Well, you're in a big disadvantage. That's 100% sure. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, especially as it came in S, I would think that they would all. I think the non-S's would be open, not the S's.
The GTS, it came automatically. With an S, it was an option. Now, Mark Hubley has the X73 suspension and the torque vector steering. So, as far as I'm concerned, he's cheating. So I have to beat my brains out to match his times. He and I are pretty close. He's just a little bit faster than me in that car, but I get him occasionally, and we're going to see what happens this year.
Good.
But Mark's a great driver.
Nice, get him.
And of course, good friend too. I was basically, when I was working, I was putting about 20,000 miles a year on the cars, 12,000 on the Cooper, and 8,000 on the Porsche. And it's racked up some mileage since then. And you know what that means? It might be time to start thinking about improving some components. So I've been thinking, okay, maybe coilovers in place of the PASM. And now Adam mentions that, yes, you can put a differential in there. And that's when my eyes got big, because I didn't even know that was possible.
We could do some more reading, but I'm seeing something on Renlist right now, write up on how they did it. So definitely possible.
See,
or just when Howard's not watching, just switch the car.
Got him.
Sneak out and get his car. Well, I like the Boxster. I like the Cayman better, which is why I first had an MGB, and then had an MGB GT.
Yeah. And
while I like Triumph Spitfires as nice cars, I also like the GT6. Mm-hmm. You guys even know what you youngsters?
I do. The very first car I ever drove was a Spitfire. Yeah.
Oh,
I was 10 years old.
I've seen green little.
Actually, it was a brand new 1976 Spitfire. That was the first car I ever drove in Taiwan, on the street of Taiwan. Believe it or not.
I'm even more impressed, because I've never driven a Spitfire before, but I think that they're cool cars. Of course, they have no performance compared to modern.
Well, anything's faster than one I've ever driven, because that was the only car I ever driven, and I was only 10. So,
yeah, when 15 miles an hour, probably fast.
It was. So Greg, what is your take on what you would consider a successful PCA Chesapeake event? What makes you happy at the end of the day of the event itself?
Minimum of 6 runs, because I always want the drivers to get as many runs as they can possibly get. I want the event to start on time, or maybe a little bit early, because I hate to waste time. I like to get started so we can finish up. An event with either no or minimal timing problems, because there can always be timing problems, and they are such a waste of time, and it's really tough on the course workers to stand out there while you're trying to resolve timing problems. So it's very important that you have no or at least minimal delays from timing problems. I want a quick changeover as quickly as possible. That can be difficult because the course workers coming off the course, guess what? We have one spotter pod at our events. They've been standing out there for an hour and a half or 2 hours. They're going to need to use the pod. I mean, I can't blame them. But it takes some time to get things organized and get that second heat going over.
Yep.
The other thing, of course, is I want the drivers to be happy with the course. I want a course that everybody enjoys, or at least the majority of the drivers, because you're never going to you rarely. All right, it's hard to keep everybody always happy, but I like to give them course designs that they really appreciate, and I'd like to be able to get the event done at least six runs, and get it done relatively early, so that everybody has a chance to go home to their families and still have time left in the rest of the day. Those are the things that I really like, that I really consider as important for a successful event.
No, that's great.
Thank you very much for joining us today. PCA Chesapeake's region's first event is on May 18th and followed by event number 2 on June 1st. All events are held at the Prince George's Stadium in Bowie, Maryland. You can find these events listings in the DMV Autocross Facebook page and on motorsportsreg.com. Registrations are open for all events, so come and join Greg and the club. Thank you, Greg, again for your contribution to the DMV Autocross community, and see you at the events. And thank you again.
Happy to be here, Adam. I'm still waiting for you to come to one of these events this year. We'll see what happens. You and Danny come out.
I should be out there.
That sounds good to me.
And I'm looking forward to the eclipse pictures.
Oh yeah.
Well, we'll see. I'm actually taking a camera, and we'll see how it works. My first goal, and this is what people tell you about going to an eclipse: don't get caught up in taking pictures. Watch it with your eyes, and enjoy the experience. So I may do a little playing around with the camera. I've taken plenty of pictures of the moon and the sun before, and I'm seriously thinking about taking pictures of the eclipse, but we'll see. First on my agenda.
Yeah,
is
absolutely. Great idea. Great advice.
Yes. So, sorry about that, Greg. That was Asian Uncle
That's
Danny
right
there trying to get you to take pictures instead of watching it.
Man, that's cold.
Hey, look, man, that's my. Yeah, I take so many pictures. I don't. That's normal.
Oh no, Danny! No! I didn't need to hear that.
I also say Porsche instead of Porsche.
He's like a soul. Oh God, you're hurting my ears.
Sorry, my membership just got cut and got canceled.
Oh, no, I can't do that. Ada, he's already consented to teach at the autocross school, so I can't treat him too badly.
I'll be there to mess up all your students.
Oh, I'm sure that's exactly the way it's going to work.
All right, great. Thank you so much, Greg.
Just make sure Danny brings the Porsche to the autocross school, please.
He brings the what?
Please, that's all I'm asking.
He brings the what?
The Porsche. That's what I said. Porsche.
Okay.
Can you, microphone.
Microphone. Yes. See, Danny, that's what you should have done.
That's right. That's what I'm doing. He's smarter than I am.
Okay, guys.
Thank you so much, Greg. Okay.
Good to see you.
Okay,
Hope to see you soon.
For our Meeting a New Autocross Friend segment, I'm happy to introduce El Pacheco to everyone. El has been a regular at autocross, trackcross, and track events in recent years. He's truly one of the friendliest autocrossers we have. So it is our pleasure to welcome El to our podcast. Thank you for joining us, El.
Hey, thanks for having me, guys. My pleasure.
Welcome to our podcast, El. Could you tell us how you started autocrossing and how long have you been autocrossing?
I started back in 2016. I basically wanted to do autocross, but life came along. Life choices came along. Because back when I was in College Park, going to college, it was like there was an autocross club, and I always meant to join that, but my car kept on breaking up, like falling apart, like typical college cars you have because you can't afford anything, and it's basically a hand-me-down car, and it's falling apart by the second year, second semester actually. So anyway, so that was like an old, long kind of choice. But back in 2016, a friend of mine, a high school buddy of mine, Matt Hall, he's with the PCA Chesapeake. They were doing autocross over at BWI, and he saw one of my posts because I added, new wheels and tune or something to the GTI when I just got it. And he was like, "Hey, we want to see what that thing will do." And I'm like, "Sure." So I went to the first one over there at Madison Way in that tiny parking lot that had the curbs and the bus stop that you have to watch out for, that had like the bolts. Yeah, the bolts were stick out like this, and you're like, yeah, you don't want to touch that any near your car. It's like, but anyway, yeah, small tiny course. First event was downpouring, 100% downpouring, like just soaking wet. I was like, wow, this is the greatest thing on the planet, though. So I ended up still doing it. The wife came out and she was like, I can't support this. I'm going to leave. So she went back home. I'm like, that's cool. I'm just going to sit here. It's like, she came back with a change of clothes. But after that, I was pretty much hooked.
What happens after BWI? Or some of the places that you've been to since?
Well, BWI, let me see. I played around there for like 2 years, and I heard about everyone going down to Waldorf when BMW was down there. And then I was like, all right, I should go. And then somebody who went down there, I can't remember who, that usually goes to the PCA Chesapeake events, was like, yeah, I should go down there. Don't go down there. They're jerks. And I was like, okay, that's cool. I mean, I didn't feel like going down to Waldorf at the time, because I was commuting in the GTI, I think, daily, probably about 100 miles a day or something. Wow. Something that was dumb. I didn't really like to do. I didn't want to do. So I wanted to try to keep this thing racing, or go ahead and plan on building a project car. So that was the choice, right? There's a choice comes into play. So, let me see. After that would probably be Brandywine, BMC.
At Ripken?
At Ripken, yeah. I heard about doing one of their events. They kept on interfering with Chesapeake, PCA Chesapeake, because I just got comfortable, got to know a lot of people at PCA Chesapeake. Some of the most friendliest people there.
For sure.
I definitely learned from Ryan Gollum.
Oh yeah,
but he's one of the fastest guys there, and then obviously inspired by the Martell brothers, Ricky and Anthony. They would just and Ryan and the Martell brothers would battle it out all the time. Their Evo X.
Yep.
And then I think
Greg had a Porsche. He had a 911.
That's right. Yeah. 911.
Yep.
And then Dean was there with his 996. First time I saw him drive there, he was like, I was like, wow, who's that guy? He was like just going nuts, like balls out. Because I mean, again, when I first started, it's like, I am scared. Like your comfort zone is not the same,
right?
Because you're used to daily driving. You're like, oh, I'm going to brake early because I don't want to do anything. But autocross, you braking early, you're just slowing down. You're adding time, so. Yep. Yeah.
Al, you're very friendly and nice, okay? So I have to ask you this. Why aren't we finding out that you're driving a Honda? Like, where's the Honda here, man? You're a great guy. Explain this Volkswagen thing. You have, like, multiple GTIs. We've seen you in a Beetle. What's up with that? Like, talk to me.
What's up with that?
The Honda. Everybody has a Honda. Everybody has a Honda.
Ada doesn't have a Honda. Does he? Do you, Ada?
He used to have a Honda.
He doesn't have
my wife has a CRV. Does that count?
Oh, that's right. Yeah, it says Honda. Okay.
I daily drive a Chevrolet because I'm a real American.
Yes.
I used to have a Chevrolet.
I have a Chevy Silverado, 1500 V8.
Was it made in Canada?
It has torque.
Ooh.
I don't know.
Not MPG though.
Yeah. So why Volkswagen?
Yeah. Why? Explain this.
I don't know. Volkswagen's been in the family. My grandfather. One of my earliest memories as a child of cars was my grandfather's Beetle.
Okay.
He had a 67, I think. But then of course, the rest of the family decides to get Beetles too. So
you gave the only answer that I will deem acceptable. My grandfather had one, and I remember it when I was a child, and my heart loves my grandfather. And through the love of my grandfather, I then bought some kind of Mark 15 or whatever they're up to now, Volkswagen GTI. And no one knows what GTI stands for.
Mark 4. Mark 4 was the very first one I got. So
you've had a 4, a 7, an 8, a 6. How many?
Nope. I got a 4, 2 7s. Count my 7 and the wife's 7, and then the Beetle Turbo, which is the last of the Beetles, at least for now.
That's a lot of Volkswagens. Yeah.
You know, my first Volkswagen, my first car was a '76 fuel injected Beetle, and now all of a sudden I feel like I'm Al's grandfather.
Oh.
And that's like how we get along. It's you know,
it must be.
Like
every time I see Al, I was like, "Come on, Al, my grandson, let me take you to dinner."
Oh my goodness, Al, I'm gonna use this knowledge that you've given me the next time I have to announce for you, because I do enjoy announcing the battles that you've had in those classes before. But now I'm gonna use the power of your grandfather. When you win, I'm gonna be able to say why. So
that's cool. I always dedicate a lot of my stuff to my grandfather.
I love it.
He was definitely a big influence.
That's
awesome.
great.
Yeah, so.
All right, Al. I've seen you at every event, and you attend more events than me, which is not easy. So let me ask you a yes or no question and a follow-up, right? Is there a reason why you're racing as much as I am? Is it because your wife wants you out of the house just like me? That's question number one. And also, out of all the clubs that you attend, list some of the pros and cons of each clubs, because I know that you've been to every one of them, right? So you don't have to name the cons if you don't want to, but we're there yet.
Okay. The partly your answer too. The wife wants me out of the house because she needs her alone time in the house, which is hilarious.
Well, I mean, that's normal.
Yep.
So, and we live in a fairly, decent size. I mean, it's a small like townhouse, so there isn't any sort of yard. The backyard takes me 15 minutes to cut the grass barely, and I don't have a front yard. It's all concrete. So, yeah. But she supports my hobby, which is actually the most blessed thing I can have, because
for sure.
Again, this hobby can get expensive, and if if you can't afford it, she will kick your ass. She will kick my ass when I can't afford it. So that's part of the reason why my car was out of commission for a while, because I was like, I couldn't afford to get it fixed. So, so basically try to get as many events in while the weather's still good. I want to say, because we're approaching that time, the spring is potentially more snow than what we just had in this past refrigerator bowl. So we'll see how that goes. As for clubs, every club has their pros and cons, every one of them. Okay, we can start off with the regional. DCR is obviously SCCA, well-run machine, 100%. It is one of the, you want to be in awe, how many cars can actually race in one day. 120. I was like, wow. I saw that first time at RFK, not RFK, FedEx. Sorry, FedEx. That was amazing. So well planning, and then obviously working their events. They team up everybody correctly. Mix of experience and novices. Everybody's really nice. Really nice. The only con I have right now is they're back at Blue Crab, which isn't bad. It's not, I don't hate it, but I'd rather go back to FedEx, because the longer course is always such a good thing to have in your schedule.
Yeah. So FedEx, by the way, it's not a norm of most autocrosses.
Yeah, it's not a normal venue.
That's a once in a lifetime kind of a gig.
I would rank that as S tier. That would be the best lot around.
it was huge. I mean, but you could see it was getting old. It was getting rough and falling apart, getting ripped apart. After year after year of tailgating, and then us running through with our sticky tires, ripping it up even more.
Yeah, in 2008 and 2009, we actually get a chance to run Lot A.
Ooh.
Yeah, this was some time ago, and then we have like 1 mile courses. Now, those are the great days of the heydays of autocrossing for DC area.
Yeah. I would love to have that back.
Yeah.
I mean, so if we go back to then we'll go to size wise. Then I mean, all right. The only con I have for them is, again, that's it. I wish we had FedEx back.
Yeah.
Waldorf is not bad either, but Waldorf is also kind of limited, I think, in course design. And it for the lot, I think it's starting to get rough too. I don't know. I know in the last there were like 2 rain events last season.
The last event was a rain event.
Last one was pretty bad.
Yep.
I just noticed how bad it was puddling. I was like, oh yeah, I can take this fast. Oh no, you can't.
And you have the car for the rain.
Yeah,
but I didn't have the tires for it that time. I definitely know. I was running the Kumos instead of the Continentals. So yeah, but yeah, let's go. All right, you go through all the clubs.
Just whatever ones you want that you like.
I mean, I like them all. I mean, I've not had a bad experience with any one of the clubs, regardless.
Best answer right there. Best answer.
Because I mean, you have to go to these places. I mean, well, let's break it down in general. I think autocross people that end up going to these or going to these regularly are probably the nicest people, because they want to make sure you're okay and they help you get faster. And I thought it was the oddest thing, because if you think about it from a racing point of view, you're like, well, you're my competitor, and no, I don't want to tell you anything. You shouldn't be my friend, and you don't want to be cutthroat. I'm like, because that's what it's kind of like. Most people that don't experience it, that's what they think.
Yeah, but we all get faster together.
That's the point. That was the point, because it's like it's more fun that way, right? And then and the fact that you're not racing. Sometimes you're racing with the same car, similar car, or somebody with something completely different, and then comparing those times, it's like, okay, that's just it makes it more fun to me. I mean, and of course you become friends, and then there's the usual trash talking that occurs. So But back to the clubs. The clubs are great. BMC Brandywine, because they're Ripken. Don't know how long that's gonna occur because of the new construction that's been there. We'll see. They got events this year, so if the complaints get out of hand. I haven't seen South Philly region's SCCA solo. I haven't seen them register yet, their calendar, so on Motorsports Reg yet. So because they usually do 2 events at Ripken as well. So that's interesting. If you want to get Ripken, you can get Ripken. Basically, Brandywine only does Ripken. Nice thing about them, they have a lot of people. Get trophies at the end, but that it depends if you get 3 or more in your class that run. And I think the pretty laid back, fun courses. Cons, everyone's so laid back. Time is not an issue, and it runs late. Can run late. Things can run late, but again, it's one of those deals. You can't. It's a human nature thing. Everyone's social and everyone likes to talk, so sometimes it happens, or technical difficulties happen. So PCA Chesapeake, first group I ever ran with. Shout out to them. Those guys that are running it now, guys that helped me out get faster as well. Nicest group, and I'll say probably some of the most fun courses I've had out of like a bunch of different clubs. If I rank them by fun factor, I think they have a good chunk.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they do get some technicals. Like all the Porsche clubs get technical. No offense. There's one thing I've noticed. They get technical to the later end of the season. They start off. Oh, we want everyone to be nice and easy, have fun, da da da. But then towards the end of the season, it's like, oh yeah, here's some crazy course you guys would never want to do, and you're not gonna have any fun.
That's funny.
I'm just kidding. Just kidding. No, just kidding. No. But I mean, there's a map of, I don't know, there's one from 2 years ago. I was like, I still have it on my phone. I showed it to people. They're like, "Oh." Novices are like, I would be lost after the third cone. I was like, yeah, it was. There's some fun stuff. So, but yeah, that's a good challenge. Both clubs are great.
Good.
Mercedes-Benz is a lot of fun. Learn a lot from them too because of how they run their stuff. And BMW, now that they're running at Summit Point, I guess they're different. But both really good clubs. BMW is really good because you can do a morning session. I don't know if they're getting rid of that or not, or do an afternoon session. You do half days, or you do full day, like both sessions. It's great. Mercedes, they split you up, and everyone has a chance to run in the morning, and then also in the afternoon. So it's not like it kind of equalizes in that way. So I mean, we've had times where your run group, runs so late or runs when the weather has now changed,
Right?
To rain or damp or no sun or all sun, and times become a big difference. So yeah.
So for this year, Al, what's your racing schedule looking like? And is there where can the people find you? Is there any goals or aspirations that you have?
Let's see. I'm thinking of changing in Pro Solo, or not Pro Solo, or in WDCR Solo Series. I'm thinking of switching over to STH, which would, because Mark in his GTI, he was bugging me all last season. He's like, "What are you in DSP for?" I'm like, "Because I won DSP the year before. Well, I want to win it again. I'm shallow."
I mean, the right class, I believe, is XA. Is that correct, Danny?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, there's no reason to be in STH or DSP. Like, none of those classes. I don't want to say they don't matter because they matter a lot and they're very important, but no one cares, right?
But
XA
but the
is
problem
all that matters.
The problem is the problem.
There's no problem. There's no problem.
There's a problem.
There's no problem.
Well, because if I put in an XA, well, either have to put a big wing on it or make that thing
Correct.
wide body.
Correct. What's the problem?
Well, the problem is that those cars are anything over 300 horsepower is really, really tough to manage on. I mean, I'm just talking in general. I mean, because you can have certain courses that were really good. Track cross, certain track is really, really good. But if I swap that turbo in there and put that sucker over 400.
Yes. Now you're talking. Okay. Continue.
Man, it's hard as hell right now to handle it as it is. It's stage 2. It's over, what is it? Like, it was 307 at the wheel?
307 at the wheels is the perfect number to jump into XA. Did you know that? That's a fact.
I know. Well, I've just noticed these GTIs, 300 is the sweet spot for 300 horsepower.
That's what I just said.
Yep.
307 at the wheels is the magic number. It's not 308. It's not 306. It's 307 at the wheels, XA.
Well, I got to put a big wing on it, but that's going to be tough.
How is that tough? That's very easy. You just drill a couple of holes, slap that thing on it, and send the car. It's just perfect, Al. I love this. Congratulations and welcome to XA. Really glad to have you. And just that.
We'll see. We'll see how this goes.
DSP, no one's even in DSP. Do we even have anyone in DSP?
No, not really. There was Vinny and his track spec Miata. That's who was my only competition.
Okay.
There was a guy with a TT. I think was it Mr. Lane? I think Danny. I don't know. If you know.
No, it's was it Mike?
Mike, yeah, it was it, I think. Yeah. He was there with his TT. He kicked my ass, but that was also because my.
Was it red?
No. Mike's car's white, right? Or is it silver or white?
Yeah, it's like a silver.
Yeah. No,
silver.
Mike has been doing this for a long time. A long time.
You know, all I know is he showed up on the trail. It showed up on the trailer. So
yeah,
the trailer.
Yeah.
Did, so.
And XA, you're not allowed to use trailers. Did you know that?
No, I didn't. Can you use A7s in XA?
no, you can't.
You're not allowed. You're only allowed street tires.
Ah, okay.
200 tread wear. Do you have street tires?
No, because that was the reason. I have street tires, of course. Yes.
There you go. So there you go. You're set. You ready to go?
But yeah, I was in DSP because my original plan was to run A7s.
Why?
Because I want to see how it runs, it feels. You know?
You could do that at a track cross. What are they? Yeah, you do that at a track cross.
I know, but that puts me in competition class. So in track class,
I'm in a competition class with a stock car. I just have a wing.
He doesn't have a stock car.
It's just a wing.
Mine's
So
stock. Mine's stock too. So I mean,
Mine's stock is what? I have 207 at the wheels horsepower. So you have 100 horsepower on me. So just come on over to XA. It's fun. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah. I'll have to see. I'll have to price it out and see what the arrow is.
Price it out. Just sign up for XA. It's free.
Well, no, but then they would break up the big wing club. I showed up there like that.
We will slap some cardboard on the rear hatch of your car.
All right, so Al's going to end up in STH this year and give Mark some competition. So that's the
okay.
All right, that's the conclusion that we got.
Fine.
Yeah, he mentioned he's going 265s. Oh no, is he going 265s? 255s. So, I think I got some 18x9. I may run 265s and see.
Yeah. But I would say, if you really want to, have some kind of advantage, go with the smaller. I mean, go with the 17s and try to throw the just go lighter. Yeah, it'll probably do better at autocrosses. All right. So with that said, thank you for spending the time with us. All right. So Al, you and I are becoming food buddies after races. So right. And by the way, if everybody else, if you're hungry and want to eat with us after the race, we're even willing to go with Ada to go to Long John Silver's. Just come and join us, right? Yeah, like basically every race afterwards, Al and I are now going somewhere. So come and join us when you see us at the events. And then with that, thank you again, Al, for joining us. And we'll see you, soon at the events, maybe at the end of the month.
We'll see you soon, Al.
Thanks, guys. Thanks for having me.
All right. Great. Thanks, Al. All right.
Thank you, Al. All right, this concludes our podcast episode. Everybody is excused except for the novices. Our novice meeting begins now. This week's novice meeting subject is about classing. This is a hot topic. Everyone wants to talk about it. There's a lot of opinions about it, but let's just talk about what it is, Danny.
All right. Well, that sounds good. So there are many different classes in just about every organization. So for this particular episode, let's start with the largest rule book in the world,
sure.
SCCA classing.
SCCA.
Yeah. Then
and then did we want to touch on other classing in next episodes?
Yeah.
Like
why don't we start with the SCCA classing, and then we start with the what we think the most three popular classes for novices for novice meeting, and then after that, and then we can dig down into other classes within SCCA and certainly branch it into Porsche classing or BMW classing, and so on and so on. And we'll go ahead and do that. Okay. So for the benefit of this episode and benefit for our novices, let's talk about SCCA classing for novices who are running in SCCA events. And again, if you run SCCA events, Brandywine also uses SCCA PAX classing.
That's
BMW sometimes will allow you to enter SCCA PAX so that you can use that. It's almost like a golf handicap, right? That's what it is. It's a fun way to bring the cars that are alike into a same group, so that you can race with similar cars to determine what your skill level is. And there's this thing called the PAX, which is like golf handicap. And then there's a percentage or multiplier.
It's a multiplier.
Yeah, there's a
right?
multiplier that you apply to the class, and then basically at the end you calculate all that stuff together, and then that's the final bragging rights on somebody who's winning top packs, right? So this is why slow people like Cody Hunt can constantly run really, really slow times and still compete with the fastest Patrick Gaffney to see who's winning. Patrick actually made me do that, or else he's going to disown me as a friend.
Oh, wow. It's called peer
That's
pressure.
right. That's right.
So you're saying that PAX is a multiplier that you and I can use. For example, you and your race car Miata against me and my humble Toyota.
Yes.
We can use that multiplier to see how bad I beat you or how bad you beat me.
That's correct. Yeah.
Even though our times might not be anywhere near each other, that helps us kind of equalize.
That's right. Field. So, but the only difference is, like a golf handicap, you can cheat and lie about, hey, I shot a 73, but the reality is you shot an 80, 85, right? So, but the PAX factor or multiplier, it doesn't change. So you can only cheat on how much prep you do in your car. So that's another story. Let's not talk about cheating. We cannot do that. That's no good.
Or complaining, because I used to complain about PAX.
That's right.
So let's not even complain.
Let's not even complain about it.
Let's talk about the facts and share it with our viewers.
That's exactly what we're going to do. So as a novice or someone new, in our opinion, there are 3 SCCA classes that you should be considering running, right? Because most likely your car will fall into one of those 3 categories. One is called the street class. The next one is called street touring. And then the next one, which is the new and exciting new classes that SCCA created in the last few years, it's called Extreme Street / Classic American Muscle classes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Those are the classes. We'll get to this later, but factually, that's the classes where the females are attracted to the males that drive in those classes. But let's continue. Let's go back to street.
All right.
Danny, can you tell us a little bit about what is street? What puts these cars in street? What's allowed?
So by the definition in chapter 13 of the SCCA rulebook, which is page number 76. No, sorry.
Wow, that's a lot of memorization you got,
actually,
Danny.
No. I am scanning through just like everybody else. Right. So actually it starts in page 73 of this year's SCCA rulebook. And by the way, rulebook used to cost X amount of dollars. You have to buy one. You have to show that you have a rulebook before you're going to go to SCCA Nationals. Nowadays, it's all online. It's all digital. It's a PDF download. So it's all free now. So I don't expect anybody to read through that. But if you run your class, you're probably better off to read through that just to be sure. Right?
Sure. And it's also fun, right? It's something to do during work while you're supposed to be working. I don't know if it's that fun, but if you think it's fun, then great. No. All right. I enjoy it.
So the reason for a street class, according to rulebook, it says this category provides the lowest barrier of entry, right, to appeal to the largest segment of the potential and existing members. That's the SCCA language. What this means, what this means is if you buy a car off the showroom that you haven't done any modification, the class you should run is in the street class. So if you're the type of person that bought a car that you have never done autocross before and you don't do any car modification, right, that's the class for you. Right.
And you'll be going up against other cars with only a few mods or maybe no mods. That's right. Like it's you're not going up against a fully blown race car with, all these power and wheels and tires and all this stuff. The rules are fairly tame.
Yeah. Correct. So there are a bunch of these, even within street classes, there are 9 separate subclasses within street, right? Yes. They start out with super street. And they go A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, right? So those are the classes. So if you're in a super street, you can pretty much bank on one of the fastest cars that are out there, like the Porsche GT3s or the new Corvette C8s and the C7s, or all these fast super duper cars, right? And some super cars like McLaren or Ferrari, they are not included in the street class because those prices are not. Those prices are insane, and then and that's just not a normal car for normal people, right? I mean, they're you have to be in this.
There is a class for those.
That's
cars,
right.
Though.
That's right. You can run Street Prepare. You can run X. There's a lot of other things that you can go. Right. Okay.
SSP.
So A Street is one step down from these super fast cars, but they're still very very fast cars. Right. So like the next generation, like the second generation of the Corvette, and then, some Porsches and then stuff like that, they can be in A. Yep. Then B is the class that are roughly around the $50,000 range and up to $70,000. So we're talking about like the one-off Camaros or the GR Corollas, or the brand new Gen Type Rs, or the most popular car is probably right now it's probably Supra.
Yep,
M2s, and then so on, right? C Street is your zoom cars.
Miatas.
Yeah. So those are your new Miatas, the fast zoom cars, right? And then those are the autocross specific street class cars that are dominating because it's lightweight and small.
Yep.
Right. So tend to put into C, right? Like the S2000s and so on. And
very fast.
Yeah, and then D Street are actually a very, very interesting class. You got a combination of some all-wheel drives in there, and then the most popular car in D Street right now is probably a GR86, Toyota, right? Or the BRZ, the newer BRZs, and then some cool Hondas, the Hyundai new cars and stuff like that, with all the whistles and all the bells and whistles and all the electric aids. They're in there.
Yep. I like seeing D Street, Danny, because I feel like there's so much variety.
That's right.
In D Street, it's very exciting to
watch. That's right. So E Street now is reserved for really, really, when you think about it, it's the entry level race cars, right? Older Miatas, the older MR2s, the cars like that. Also super light, but they cannot catch the C Street speed. But there's got to be a place for people to play. So
fun cars.
So unfortunately, like before COVID, you can buy those cars for $2,000, $3,000. Not anymore, right? And now anything decent is going to be much higher prices than that. But really, the intent was, a $3,500 or $4,000 MR2, right? E Street MR2 Spider can do wonders, for very, very little cost. And unfortunately, those days are over, but it might come back. So that's your lowest, cost of entry, into autocrossing. Okay. Then G Streets are usually fast front wheel drive cars, like the new Civic SIs and so on. And then those are typically front wheel drive platform. It's not quite the most expensive ones. It's not quite the family sedan type. So it's kind of stuck in between. And now there's F Street, which I missed, right?
You definitely skipped it, but I will not give you a hard time for that. English,
exactly. Well, I mean, totally F is always last.
F is last.
Anyway, F Street doesn't mean you fail, right? F Street means that you're freaking fast, You're
fast.
So those are usually your stock or off the showroom American muscle cars, right?
Yep.
So your Mustangs, Camaros, your Challengers and awesome. Stuff like that. That's with a lot of power, a lot of room. And then it's a very popular DC car. So somebody, especially the old timers, I don't want to say old timers now. I'm an old timer, but that's a very, very popular car for people who's been doing this for quite some time. Right.
They're fun.
Yeah. Strano, Lee Picone, guys, even like Carwin, right?
Your boy Carwin.
Yeah.
There you go.
Brian Carwin, and then Clyde Kaplan, and Kevin Henry. They're all in that. Yep. The very well known, DC autocrossers that's been doing this for years.
Salisbury,
right? The Salisburys, yes, right. Yep. So they're all in that group. Okay, yep. So those are American muscles. H Street is your entry level econo boxes. Right. So the lowest, I don't want to say the lowest, but the most, your entry level, Honda Accords, sedans, basically sedans, or your regular Civics, not the SI or the Type R, are usually in those category. So both H and G are probably the perfect cars for, carrying stuff around, and that's your only car. And you can get around and do whatever you need to do for the family. And then on the weekends, you can just, throw some tires on and go autocrossing. All right. So, exactly. So the allowable modifications, the big allowable modifications are, the number one thing is tires, right? You can use 200 trade wear tires that's approved by SCCA as long as they're on the exclusion list, right? So there's some tires are excluded from on the 200 trade wear, even though they're 200 trade wear. So look for those information. Right. And then wheels, you can be 1 inch, one inch higher in diameter, or 1 inch shorter in diameter,
or lower.
And then for the offsets, they can be plus or minus 7 millimeters in offsets. So then essentially what most people would do is they would try to buy the lightest wheel that they can afford, that within those specs, and then you throw the best tire on there, and that would be the best street car modification that you can do. Other little things, I don't want to say little, they do have performance impact. The cheapest thing to adjust your suspension is sway bar. So you can get a front sway bar or the rear sway bar. So typically for front-wheel drive cars, you do a front sway bar. I'm sorry, you do a rear sway bar. And then the rear-wheel drive cars, you do a front sway bar. For all-wheel drives, it depends on what kind of all-wheel drive car it is. If you want more rotation, you put a rear one. But if your car has a weak center diff or weak differential, then you probably don't want the car to tripod. So of course we're getting a little deeper, and then you can select whether if you want front or rear. Okay, and any alignment is good, right? That's up to your liking, right? But you cannot use any non-approved parts or anything to adjust your alignment, like non-approved camber bolts or camber plates or any of that stuff. You cannot do that, right? You can change your shocker struts into an aftermarket shocker strut, as long as that doesn't have more than 2 shocker strut adjustments, right? And then you can use adjustable perch, but the perch has to be adjusted exactly at the right height adjustment. So basically, and you have to use stock spring. So that means that you cannot just grab another spring and throw it in there and change the car and lower it and try to run that. And that's the street touring class that you can do. All right. One last thing: mufflers. If you want to change anything, if you want to change your muffler, if you're ADA, you think that muffler, the loud noise is going to attract.
It makes me drive so much better and
attract new partners.
They come running.
Okay, so that's the only thing you can change. So some of us will either actually go to just do a muffler delete on the turbo cars. That's lower power, so it doesn't generate that much noise. That's basically primarily there for weight savings or noise or a little bit of a performance effect. And other than that, that is all the allowable modifications in the street class. And if you want to look for more information, go to SCCA Rulebook 2024, Chapter 13. Start at page 70.
Excellent. Thank you, Danny.
Okay.
And honestly, street classes are the perfect way to get into the sport. And a lot of people are done modding their cars and they just want a stock car or they want a close to stock car. And it makes sense for them. For me, I don't know. It's like regular ass traffic. Like I want a huge wing. So the street class is hard for me. Like it's very hard. But I do love and respect those street classes because the most exciting racing you'll see sometimes happens in those street classes. Like I get to announce for them. It's awesome. I mean,
So, what most people might think is the street class are for the people who begin to enter, the sport. No, I mean, there are some of the most highly contested classes are in street class. And then actually, when you think about, car prep and stuff like that, other people throw money into a car prep to meet a class rule. What street class people do is they just buy another car.
Danny, I got a question for you. Tell me if I'm wrong or not. I feel, and this is maybe I'm just full of crap. I feel like there's a bell curve. And when you start, your car is in street. And as you become better and as you grow, it jumps to higher classing, more mods. And then at some point, you find yourself back in street class.
I think
it's
really kind of strange. I think that there are a couple of different types of people who are doing the racing, right? One is they are there because they want to win something, right? The competitors, right? Mm-hmm. And then they're the type of person that they love their car more than anything else, right? Yeah. So so there are two different types of competitors that are competitive. One of them is always going to try to throw the latest and the greatest stuff onto their cars because they love modifying and do all the work. And then you have another segment of folks that just want the plain level field, so that they spend the least amount of time to get that car that they can compete. So those are the people that runs in street classes or classes like SSC, right? And then
we haven't talked about SSC yet.
And then another class like the CSM, these spec class cars that allows you to run both autocrosses with SCCA and time trials in SCCA, right? So there are like three different spec classes that are doing that now, right? And we're not going to talk about that for this thing because I think you have to get in a little bit deeper as an autocrosser in order to start thinking about I need to pick a spec car. right?
Yeah,
For
agreed.
competition purposes. So
Agreed,
we're going to
yep.
skip that, and we can talk about that later ones. So bear in mind, street class, easiest way to enter if your car to stock, right? And then minimum modification, they could be novices or it could be 10-time national champion picking those classes.
Exactly.
All right. Okay. So with that said, so that's the street class. All right.
Yep. All right. Thank you, Danny. Thank you for that overview of the street classes. I think that was really informative. In the interest of time, let's cut it off here. And next novice meeting, let's go over street touring and those classes so that we don't sit here. And it's hard to absorb these as a novice because we have a lot more classes to go over and a lot more mods to go over. So let's cut it here, and then let's come back and get ready for street touring next novice meeting.
Absolutely. No, that sounds like a great idea. Okay, so that wraps up our 9th episode of the DMV Autocross Podcast. Thank you for spending the last hour with us. Unfortunately, I stopped talking, otherwise it'd be like 3 hours. And we again hope you find this informative and fun.
And until next time, keep your tires on the track and your wing in the back. All right, moving on to our favorite segment, your favorite segment, everyone's favorite segment, Ask Uncle Danny. Yeah. Is right, because we have a whopper of a question for you. Actually, I should say a chicken sandwich of a question.
original chicken sandwich.
Original chicken sandwich. For our Ask Uncle Danny segment question, we have a hot question from Stuart Miller. He posted in the DMV Autocross Facebook group, and he asks Uncle Danny, Chick-fil-A, Popeyes, or Raising Cane's. So his question was a great question. It's a great question. I'm going to add KFC to that because how do you add Popeyes and not KFC? You got to throw it in there. Right. It's a competitor.
That's right.
And so we're going to leave it at that. I will not add the actual winning answer because we all know it's Long John Silver's chicken. So we're going to just, out of these four, Danny, what is the only answer? What's the best answer?
All right. Okay. So,
here it is.
I always have opinion on something, some logical and some illogical. Sure. This one's totally logical. I mean, there's only one winner. I'm sorry. Yep. There's only one winner.
Yeah.
All right.
Really?
So, there's going to be an autocross take, right? So, we're autocrossers, and then, we usually eat those food during autocrossing or after autocrossing, right?
Absolutely.
So nobody likes cold chicken.
No one likes cold chicken.
And then I'll be honest. So nobody really likes dry chicken either.
Nobody likes dry
Raising
chicken.
Cane out.
Throw that
out the window. Okay. I know that you're Raising
here.
Cane folks. I go to Waldorf, and then, Andrew Choi say, "Oh, let's go to Raising Cane."
Yeah. It's like, Andrew, you just got in 8th place because it was drizzling.
That's right.
A little. You don't get
dry chicken is no good. Get out of here.
Get out of it. They got to put extra sauce on it to make it edible.
That's right. Right. Okay. So KFC, I would say honestly, the very first fried chicken I had was actually was a Taiwanese chicken called OK Chicken.
Okay.
It was pretty good. They have a sweet potato fries that was to die for. But the first time I had KFC, it was like, wow, man, this is different. The Colonel knows what he's doing.
Yeah.
Right. So, and then then the first place that we live in Connecticut when I was 14 years old, and there's a KFC right there. So we usually go over there, and then I would buy the fried chicken and made my brother eat all the coleslaws. I have all the mashed potatoes and gravies, right?
Smart. You outsmarted him.
That's right. Yeah, exactly. And then I don't really particularly like the extra crispy one, dried chicken, just like Raising Cane's out, right? But Originals has a soft spot.
Sure.
Right? Okay.
That's a historical soft spot. I get that. Yeah. Actually.
But a lot of times when they put original chicken together with like Taco Bell, then it kind of lost its thing. So So no, sorry, no KFC.
So KFC's out. Okay, let's get them out of here.
All right. So, and let's talk about Chick-fil-A. Everybody likes Chick-fil-A, but one thing I don't like is I don't like to stand in the line waiting for Chick-fil-A. Right.
No one likes to
stand
in line.
And then since everybody tells me it's their pleasure to take my order.
My pleasure.
Yeah.
My pleasure.
And after that, it's becoming very insincere.
It's
no longer their pleasure.
A lie. At this point, they're lying straight to your face when there's my pleasure as they snatch your card out of your hand.
The word my pleasure forever.
You can't say it anymore.
That's right. When they say my pleasure, it's like, oh, get the hell out of here.
Next time someone says thank you at the next autocross, I'm gonna say my pleasure and stare them down.
Yeah, exactly. So I will say that their waffle fries are excellent, especially with Chick-fil-A sauce. right?
Sure. That's a reasonable
You know,
take.
and then
But you're not going to go there just for their waffle fries.
yeah, exactly. But I also just go there for their cookie and cream milkshake.
Well, that's different.
Right.
That's a milkshake.
Okay, so it ranks high, but you know what?
Hi, it's up there. Yeah.
I can't stand their chicken nuggets for some reason, and I don't think their chicken sandwich is anything. So out.
Okay. All right. Out.
Right.
Throw them out. Chick-fil-A, get out of here.
So now what you have is
You have Popeyes
Popeyes,
left.
right?
You have Popeyes left.
So
Yeah,
now when
yeah.
you think about Popeyes, the spicy dark meat Popeyes, you know,
Okay.
but
okay.
and all that stuff is awesome. They're
Oh.
what do you call it? The mashed potatoes with the the special gravy with the little meat in there, fantastic, right? And they have like really fattening apple pies that's crispy with cinnamons and all that stuff. In their biscuits is awesome, right? But no, I'm gonna throw that out too.
Throw them out. Get
You know
them
I'm throwing them
here.
out. They
why?
canceled Cajun rice.
Oh my
What the
God.
hell was that?
And we know Danny loves rice.
You know, like I know that people might catch salmonella in that stuff,
I mean,
but Cajun rice.
what's a little
out?
salmonella?
Are you kidding?
It tastes so good.
Are you kidding me?
They messed
no.
up.
Okay,
They
so
messed
that's
up.
out, right?
Throw them out of here, Danny.
So I'm gonna tell you the best chicken place to go. My favorite.
Hold up. Before you say this, am I allowed to guess?
Yes.
Are we going to the home of the king?
Okay, now chicken sandwich, the original chicken sandwich is the
Yes.
very first chicken sandwich I ever had in my life, right?
It's a good one.
Big, you know, like I used to remember,
Yeah.
my friend Don Salemo would do this, but he would never listen to this anyway. So, I when I was a kid, I used to go to Nanuet Mall in Nanuet, New York, right? Just
Okay.
north of the Hudson River over Tappan Zee Bridge. And then I used to go there and have the original chicken sandwich and fries and the onion rings and the Diet Coke, right? For $4.29.
Oh my lord!
Right.
Okay, so if
I
it's not
still order.
BK's
I still order
chicken,
original chicken sandwich, and when I feel I want to be a kid again.
I figured out what it
Yeah.
is. You're going straight to Wendy's, aren't
No,
you? You're going straight to.
no.
You're not getting the spicy chicken from Wendy's.
If I go to Wendy's, I get a hamburger, cheeseburger.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
All right. Okay.
You know, Danny, you got me. You got me lost.
Okay.
right
So
now.
so this could take forever, but I'm going to give you my answer. My answer is Jollibee's.
Danny, what?
What the hell is a Jollibee?
Danny, you can't make up a fake
No,
chicken
no, no,
restaurant.
no,
that
no,
one
no.
threw- No,
Jo-
you're making this up.
Jollibee is Filipino fried chicken.
Oh, come on.
I'm serious. Jollibee has
Oh,
the crispiest, most delicious hot fried chicken.
Is this like Filipino banchan?
No. I don't like banchan either, to be honest.
Oh my
Banchan
God, you're
out.
killing me right now. Do you make this
No,
yourself
no,
at
no,
home?
no,
Like,
no.
What is this?
No,
Is this a real restaurant?
For the people that actually knows what Jollibee is, right?
No one knows what Jollibee is.
Now, okay, here I'm introducing you to something good. So Jollibee now is in Silver Spring. There's a place. There's a
Oh my God.
Jollibee in
Oh
Silver
my
Spring.
God.
I think there's a
Okay,
Jollibee in
okay.
Alexandria. There's a Jollibee in Chantilly, right?
Okay, so three.
But I've seen Jollibees, right? Where's the capital of Scotland? Edinburgh, right? I saw
don't know why I knew that.
Jollibee in Edinburgh, right next to the old churches.
No, you did not.
I'm serious.
Is Edinburgh the capital of
I
Scotland?
thought so. I think so.
I feel like
Maybe
you're just-
what's his name?
No.
The place where they kill each
No.
other on the street with the gangs of New York type.
Hold on, capital.
Glasgow.
of Scotland.
It's Edinburgh, I think.
It's Edinburgh.
yeah,
It's
yeah.
Edinburgh.
Edinburgh's
Wow,
a beautiful
what
city, and then there's Jollibee there, right?
yeah.
Jollibee is right next to one of the the train stops. But I had Jollibee for the first time, right, in the Ala Moana Mall in Honolulu,
Oh, so you're in
right? Oh,
you're in Scotland. You're in Hawaii.
I mean,
you're just on vacation.
no. I
baby.
went there for the chicken.
That's why that chicken. No, the chicken tastes good because you're on vacation.
I went there for
All
the chicken.
food
What are you talking
tastes
about?
better on vacation. You did not go to Hawaii.
All
for
right.
the
Okay.
chicken.
So the true reason for that is not only Jollibee chicken is delicious and it's hot and it's fantastic and they move along pretty good,
Okay.
right?
Okay, and you're on vacation when you.
That's
eat
right.
It, so
Another thing is the mascot of Jollibee looks exactly like Buc-ee's.
oh my God. Okay, you want gas station chicken.
All right.
You over here talk about Royal Farms chicken.
Okay.
for
So by the way,
Okay, all right.
if you go to Buc-ee's, try their all ground beef burrito. It's also delicious, and that's this week's Ask Uncle Danny.
Oh my God, I can't right now. All right, this segment is gonna be cut. This is we can't keep doing
We might as
this.
well go with the bang.
You were asked which one of these 3 chicken places is best, and you made up one that's in Scotland and in Hawaii.
No, I'm
Thank
telling you,
Dan.
Jollibee is the best. I mean, trust me, you'll come around to that. Racing Cane's.
I'm sure I will. Throw him out. Get him out of here.
Especially Andrew.
Get him out of
That's
here.
right. All right. That's it.
All right.
All right.
Ask Uncle Danny. Feel free to post up your questions in the DMV Facebook group. Post them on this video's link. Post them. Tag Danny. Tag me. Let's get those questions rolling, please. Yeah. And thank you, Stuart, again for your fantastic question.
And I'm not steak guy, so don't ask me about steak questions.
Don't ask you about steak questions.
You know, like when you're, what's a good steakhouse? No clue.
Oh, okay, let's
chicken fried steak. I can tell you.
Chicken fried steak. Are you? What are you gonna say?
Country fried steak. Expert. No, just kidding.
You're not an expert.
All right. Okay. Next week.
Next
2 weeks.
Please.
All right. See ya.